I am no scientist. I don't pretend to be a scientist, but I tell you all the time, I pay attention. If you noticed yesterday when we were talking about the Algerian boxer, Iman Khalif, I didn't say nothing about him. I was reading, not transgender, not a dude. This is a difficult situation, and I like the truth. I like to see both sides. I do. I like the truth. You know, I have been a staunch advocate of absolutely no women or men in women's sports. I have been Riley Gaines is way out here, but from the get-go, I have been all in on this. This one is confusing, though. This one is very, very, very confusing. She was deemed to have male chromosomes. Now, in Algeria, there is no sex change. In Algeria, it is illegal. In Algeria, you do it, you might be thrown in jail. You're going to be thrown in jail. I don't know what else is going to happen to you. So you got to look at it through the lens of, okay, what's really going on here? All right, 1 year ago, she failed multiple DNA tests and was disqualified by the World Boxing Federation. Now, she just beat her opponent in 48 seconds. Now, Doug Gottlieb did something smart. Doug Gottlieb showed the video, and the Italian opponent was wide open when she took a shot. And I don't give a damn who you are in any boxing or street fight. If you leave yourself wide open while you're throwing a punch, you're going to catch one in the kisser. The easiest thing in the world to do is say this is a transgender athlete. The easiest thing in the world to do is say this is a dude. Nobody, and I mean nobody other than Riley Gaines, has been in the forefront of this. But this is weird to me. Pat McAfee, he chimed in, and here's what he had to say.
So now we're watching the Olympics, and this Italian girl has made it. She's boxing, committed her whole life to boxing. Mm-hmm. Committed her whole life, this girl. Her dad passed away, I do believe.
Yeah, very recently.
Very recently. I assume her and her dad I assume this is a big story. And then all of a sudden she finds herself in the Olympics moving forward, and she has to fight somebody from Algeria who has been banned from other competitions because not woman enough to compete. Yeah. And then 46 seconds into her Olympic fight with this woman from Algeria, basically taps out, broken nose. Then afterwards she cries and she's like, I've never been punched that hard in my life. And it's like, for me, I know this conversation has been happening for a few years. I just don't understand how we got to this point. And I am coming from a very empathetic point of view as well. But when it comes to sports, it's like the physical body, especially in these physical, is the one competing. So I think there should be some sort of conversation there, especially at very, very high levels, because whenever you're talking about Olympics and dreams and chasing, that girl bawling her eyes out from Italy, it's like, think about her entire life was committed, then she gets into a fight with somebody who physically is gonna be, more capable, just throughout history, than she even has the possibility of being. Like, at those high level of competition, there is a clear advantage. There always has been. I assume there always will be. And I hope we get to a point where we can all agree on this, that like, hey, I think we all feel the same way about this.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's empathetic. I don't know if that tells you anything. And I don't know that anybody can tell you anything. Look, sometimes you get in boxing and somebody is bigger and stronger and they've done it. Maybe they've worked harder. Maybe their body is different. But this is just really weird. IBA president Umar Kemlov said DNA tests proved that these women had XY chromosomes and thus were excluded. Okay, but the Olympic Committee is saying, look, these two women played by the rules as determined in Tokyo. Now, a little backstory here. Anybody that has ever been in sports, when drug testing started, when I played in the 80s, drug testing did not exist. I did not have to pee in a cup. Right after I played in the late 80s, it did. Why? I'll tell you why, because of the Olympics. The Olympics were the standard bearer for drug testing. And it all started in the 70s when the East Germans, before the wall came down, came over with full frickin' beards, being dudes and swimming and crushing people. Now, so the Olympics was always the number one deal. I mean, the number one deal. People would even say, what is this, the Olympics? You're testing me so hard. I don't know the answer to this, but I do know this, that people are wrong People are definitely wrong. At least it's as stated right now. At least as stated right now. When you state she is a transgender or she is a dude, she has XY chromosomes, which in theory makes her a dude. So I get that. But somehow, some way, she's a woman. Now, there are all kind of different names for this. There are all kinds of different things. I get it. And people are going back in the history and saying, well, this Italian woman has cried before. Okay. Well, I don't know that. I don't care about that. What I do care about, though, is that we're at least honest. See, there's a part of me that feels badly, and this may go against everything that anybody at OutKick or anywhere else stands. There's a part of me, if this woman has these chromosomes and women parts, which by all observations, or not observations, by all accounts she does. Like she is an intact woman that has these chromosomes. Okay. Well, I got to tell you, I feel bad for her. If, in fact, she's not transgender, if, in fact, she hasn't been doping. Now, whether she doped before or not, nobody has ever said she has doped. I've been going through this all morning. And I can't find anywhere where they have said doping. They're saying she's tough. They're saying she's strong. They're saying that, I don't know. Listen to this. For decades, women who passed all these tests got a certificate of femininity that they had to present before every Olympic competition. Now, imagine that now. Think about that now. Those who didn't pass because their body's different from what administration deemed the feminine norm were exiled from their sports. Now, a lot of times athletes had no idea they had chromosomal variations until the Olympic Gender Certification Verification Authorities told them. I'm just telling you, there is a part of me that feels terrible for this woman. Here, listen to this. There's a book called Fair Play, How Sports Shape the Gender Debates. What we think of as biological sex consists of the interplay and collection of your sex chromosomes, sex hormones, your internal reproductive structure, and what gonads you have, and your external genitalia. Many people diverge from the norm in any of those categories. Between 1 and 2% of people fall what is called the intersex umbrella. Now, how about that? So, if this woman, the boxer, the one everybody's calling a dude, is legitimately in this 1 to 2%, then I feel bad for her. Not her fault. Sometimes you're born how you're born. Well, all the time you're born how you're born. And she wanted to be an Olympic boxer. A lot of people are calling her evil. A lot of people are calling this evil. I don't agree with that until I'm proven differently. Now, you wonder what's happened with the Olympics, though. This is where I'm at. I grew up in a time where, man, like I said, the East Germans were dominating and everybody knew it, and the East Germans were dope, and it got exposed, and, you know, Eastern Bloc countries were Yugoslavia. Everybody was doing all this crap. And then the Olympics were at the forefront of saying, no, here are our testing. Everything that has been done, whether it is Lance Armstrong in the Tour de France, NCAA sports, whatever, is based on the Olympics and their testing. And how the Olympics have allowed this when other organizations like the International Boxing Association, the IBA, did not, is beyond me. That's the frustration or the interest that I have. Is it fair? I got to tell you, I don't know. I honestly don't know. If this is a woman, she's a woman who has XY chromosomes, there's a part of it that says, well, she's not a woman. But if she has full genitalia and reproductive, you tell me, is she a woman? And it's natural. If it comes out that it's not natural, if it comes out that she's transgender and it's all been surgically different, then fine, I get it, it's different. But I think we're being incredibly irresponsible. Not what McAfee said. I think Pat handled it better than most. I think we're being incredibly irresponsible by just simply jumping on this. And saying, this is a dude. This is a transgender. I don't think it is. She is. I keep saying it. I'm sorry. I'm acting like this isn't really a person, and that's absolutely wrong. I don't think she is. I don't know what she is. It is amazing. You know, I tell you all the time, there is a backstory. There's always a backstory. I don't know what the hell the backstory is in this, but the backstory that I'm curious about is if, in fact, she's not transgender, then why the hell are the Olympic standards lower than a boxing federation standard? That's never been the way. Here's Iman Khalif's Instagram post. Here's what she had to say after winning. First victory. Look, I am right there with you. She looks like a dude. She looks absolutely like a dude. In an emotional interview, Angela Carini, who is the Italian woman that lost, had just explained that she abandoned because she had never been punched so hard. Iman Khalif said nothing. And this is the issue that the IOC's Mark Adams suggested everybody should just dial down. An absolute scandal. I think that athletes who have male generic characteristics should not be admitted to women's competition. I don't have a problem with that. I don't. But there's testing for it. And the Olympics are always the most stringent. You see my point? And not because they want to discriminate against somebody, but to protect the rights of female athletes to be able to compete on equal terms. I regret Karini's withdrawal even more. I was emotional yesterday when she wrote, "I will fight," because the dedication to head the character surely also play a role in these things. But then it also matters to be able to compete on equal grounds. And from my point of view, this was not an even contest. This is the prime minister. Well, I get all that. I do. But somehow, some way, the Olympics changed what in the hell they were doing. Somehow, some way, the Olympics gave in. Is that woke? I think it is. I do. I think the Olympics were afraid of being considered, well, like everybody else that's criticizing the boxer, anti-trans, anti-whatever, insensitive, homophobic, whatever you want to call people. Some of us, they get called it every day because people don't agree with us, don't care about it. But the truth of the matter is this is a lot more than just saying, hey, a dude beat up a woman. Period. Transgender. Now, here's my bigger question. This is always interesting to me. If, in fact, the woman is deemed to be more dude than man, why isn't she fighting against the men? Why doesn't she have to qualify for the Olympics through the male side? We never do that. You know my stance on this. Hey, Leah Thomas, that's great. You're transitioning as a swimmer. You're not swimming against Riley Gaines. You're swimming against the dudes. Anybody transitioning male to female, female to male should compete against the men. It's that simple. That easy. That simple. And if you're not, hey, then we're doing it wrong. But I'm telling you right now, none of us have the answer to this because we're never told the backstory, and there's always a backstory here. The Algerian fighter will continue to fight. I can't imagine she's now going to be thrown out of the Olympics because a fellow boxer cried after getting beat. I mean, hell, people cry all the time after getting beat. But I will say, I am not going to be one of those that jumps on to this is a dude, that jumps on this is a trans. I'm not. Hey, look, I support it as much as anybody, if not more than everybody other than Riley Gaines. But I'm not ready to do that. I look at both sides and I say to myself, what the hell happened to the Olympic structure? That's one. Two, I honestly do not know. This is one of the weirdest things I've ever seen. If I had to guess, I would say there's no chance she should be allowed to participate in these Olympics as a woman. Go participate as a man. But it ain't my call. Staying on the same course, our friend, we really got a lot of McAfee today. Pat McAfee goes after the blogger boys of the woke media world who gave him no respect just because he has the balls, the stones, the sack to speak his mind. That's right. That's right. He was asked on the Dan Patrick show if he would do the roast of Tom Brady, to which he responded no, because he gets disrespected on the daily for no reason. Here he is. Here's McAfee.
Were you asked to take part in that roast?
No, I was not. Not at all.
Would you have done it?
No. No way. I don't like that. I get roasted enough. You know, I already get roasted enough in my life and day to day. And I don't know how you've done this for as long as you've done it in the sports world, because I assume everybody has respect for you as they should. There's not a lot of respect for me amongst other people that are in the sports world, sports journalist world. So I get roasted a lot on a regular basis. So I wouldn't sign up for something to go sit on a stage to get absolutely roasted by everybody. That would be a difficult decision. I'd rather good vibes, but I am certainly one to watch the drama. Like, I will watch the Real Housewives of Orange County, but I do not want to be in the Real Housewives of Orange County. You know what I mean?
Boy, he is my guy. That is my guy right there. I will watch it. I won't do it. They did a roast to me a few years ago when I first got out of coaching, and it was really kind of strange. It was just kind of stupid. It wasn't a big deal. The guy who promoted it, how about this? The guy who promoted it left, and I'm walking out with a couple of my buddies. After everybody had left, we stayed around. Some friends flew in. We were talking. General manager of the building comes up and says, here's the bill. I go, what are you talking about? Here's the bill. She goes, who's paying for this? I go, I don't know. The guy walked out on it. That was unbelievable. So long story short, I've always been fascinated by roasts. When I grew up, Rich Little et al. Used to do these roasts, and I loved him. Oh, man, Don Rickles would get up there. Dean Martin would get up there. It was hilarious. And I didn't mind the Tom Brady roast, but I'm never doing them. Two things about a roast. If you are the roaster, meaning you are roasting somebody, let's say I am roasting Pat McAfee, it really depends on who you follow. You want to follow a dud, it's no different than coaching. You don't want to be the guy that follows greatness. You want to follow a dud, and that's not always going to happen, because if they put you up there, that ain't good. And second, who the hell wants to sit up there uncomfortably, unless it's for $25 million? Now, $25 million, that's what Brady got. He got $25 million to sit there. I'd sit there for $25 million. You can talk about anything you want with me. I don't give a damn. At my age, $25 million in the bank, hey, man, I'm an open book. Let's rock and roll. Let's do this. But I'm with Pat. I like watching. I'll watch New Jersey, the Housewives. I'll watch New York, the Housewives, the OC, Beverly Hills. I'll watch those crazy-ass ladies. But I don't want my wife or my family in them. Not even a little bit. I'll watch I don't want to be roasted. I don't want to be the roaster. Like, No. That's bad bit. In fact, I would argue this, and I'm the only one talking about, Brady's like the worst human being alive. You know, after that roast, I'm sitting there, well, he cheated on one wife, cheated on another wife, or at least got divorced, who the hell knows. Runs around all the time, doesn't pay attention to his kids. Gets one of those PPE loans when he's got bazillions of dollars during COVID. Cheated in football. Cheated in sport. Got suspended. I mean, what the hell is this dude doing? Like, he's like the worst dude ever. If he didn't throw passes, people would be like, this guy sucks. But he's pretty, and he threw passes, so we all love him. But out of that roast, my thinking was, yeah, that was pretty funny. Yeah, that was Nikki Glaser was really, really funny. I thought she was awesome. I don't want to follow her. But I got to tell you, I came out of it going, yeah, I know these are all jokes, but Brady's a pig. Brady's horrendous. Brady's awful. Terrible. No, it's amazing. No, I'm with Pat. I don't need that in my life. There's enough in our lives. We all get ripped left and right, up and down. You know what I'm saying? I don't need any of that action. Not even a little bit. It is amazing. See, white dudes cannot talk politics except Pat McAfee at ESPN. Actually, nobody, including African-American women like Sage Steele, can talk politics if it's not about Trump, hating on the conservative agenda. If you are liberal, ESPN has proven it that you may talk about it. Dan Orlovsky yesterday deleted a very simple one, protect our daughters. I guarantee you his agent said, Dan, don't, man. But there's a guy named David Dennis Jr., who none of you have heard about. Apparently his daddy was a favorite of the liberal or the civil rights movement. Apparently his daddy was involved in this. So because your dad was involved, we're all supposed to genuflect to Junior. Junior's a moron. Junior's on ESPN, David Dennis Jr., for one reason and one reason only. His daddy was a civil rights leader, and he can stoke the flames of liberalism and keep the boys and girls, the white boys and girls, in building number 4, happy that they're not going to have to hear anybody in the national media call their racist ass racists. They're so happy about that, so they give David Dennis Jr., or whatever the hell his name is, the platform. That's the background. Now, you got to understand, the building number 4 at ESPN is right there. I don't know how many floors it has, but you go to the top, and there they are, Stephanie Drewley. Used to be Norby Williamson, Connor Snell, Burke Magnus. They all reside there, all these white people. And they all take, oh, man, you can call me anything you want. I don't care. We're ESPN. We're a Goliath. We're a giant. But don't call me racist. Don't call me racist. Oh, my God, don't call me racist. I know these people. That's what they do. It's really kind of funny to me. Actually, it's hilarious. Stephanie Drewley's the best. She has a glam shot for her picture. Doesn't know a thing about a thing. But she was one of the original hires at ESPN, one of the original DEI hires. She's a woman, so she's in this job. I told her one time, true story. When I was going through something, when I had said I was not going swimming in a pool with a woman, going at it in a pool with a woman that wasn't my wife, it blew up. Stephanie Drewley calls me. She says, Dan, the women of ESPN are all upset. I said, really? The women of ESPN? Well, one of your married with 2 young children, college football reporters, the woman of ESPN, is currently screwing the columnist here in Indianapolis. I don't want to hear about the women of ESPN. I know these women of ESPN. They're frauds, they're fake, they're full of shit. And she got the last laugh. I mean, or I did. We both parted ways. But that's what ESPN's about. And that's why David Dennis Jr. is there. So here's what David Dennis Jr. had to say about Donald Trump after Trump showed up at the National Association of Black Journalists, after Trump sat there when these clowns were 25 minutes late getting going. He sat there, took disrespectful, nonsensical questions, hateful questions to start. Then it got okay, and he took it all. But this is what Davis Dennis Jr. took from this. That man doesn't even believe the National Association of Black Journalists should even exist. LMAO. Like, what are we doing right now? I don't think anybody believes the National Association of Black Journalists should exist. I think everybody believes that everybody should get along. I think even I've seen this on my Twitter feed. African-American journalists say, I didn't know we had a Black Association, a National Association of Black Journalists. I've seen many African-American journalists say, what are you talking about? What if they had a white National Association of White Journalists? Y'all be freaking out. I've seen so much of that, I've been shocked, actually. It made me feel good. Look, I understand you want to get together. I understand you have a cause. But look, Donald Trump went in there and did that. So for this guy who is, well, on a show because he is a race baiter, he did what he's supposed to do. You can't get mad at Davis Dennis Jr. because he's doing exactly what he was hired to do. I wasn't going to the NABJ anyway for just logistical reasons. Really? I mean, you're on ESPN, dude, which means you're, I don't know, as visible as anybody. But I wasn't going. I wasn't going. Oh, okay. But I won't be going back as long as the current leadership is still there. They sidestepped pretty much every ethics practice journalists are supposed to embody over the last week. Non-kinfolk behavior. Well, what they did was you're right, David Dennis Jr., they were incredibly disrespectful to a former president. They laughed. They were loud. You're right. Put that back up, would you please, if you don't mind? They sidestepped pretty much every ethics practice journalists are supposed to embody over the last week. They asked Kamala Harris, she couldn't make it, or she wouldn't make it, like David Dennis Jr. You know, instead of supporting something, and I say this all the time, and it's really true, I love what Martin Luther King had to say. I judge people by the content of their character, not the color of their skin. Davis Dennis Jr., if David Dennis Jr. had to judge people by the content of character, he would have realized, wait a second, Donald Trump showed up. Kamala Harris didn't. Isn't that interesting? That's really interesting. Here's a little sound from Donald Trump on that panel.
It's not true. You have told 4 congresswomen of color who were American citizens to go back to where they came from. You have used words like animal and rabid to describe black district attorneys. You've attacked black journalists, calling them a loser, saying the questions that they ask are, quote, stupid and racist. You've had dinner with a white supremacist at your Mar-a-Lago resort. So my question, sir, now that you are asking black supporters to vote for you, why should black voters trust you after you have used language like that?
Well, first of all, I don't think I've ever been asked a question so in such a horrible manner. First question. You don't even say, hello, how are you? Are you with ABC? Because I think they're a fake news network, a terrible network. And I think it's disgraceful that I came here in good spirit. I love the black population of this country. I've done so much for the black population of this country, including employment, including opportunity zones with Senator Tim Scott of South Carolina, which is one of the greatest programs ever for black workers and black entrepreneurs. I've done so much, and, you know, and I say this, historically black colleges and universities were out of money. They were stone cold broke, and I saved them, and I gave them long-term financing, and nobody else was doing it. I think it's a very rude introduction. I don't know exactly why you would do something like that.
Good for him, man. You got to stand up. And I guarantee you, if you're really a journalist, you listen to that and you went, huh. He talks about everybody that way. Rosie O'Donnell, white people. I had that one time here, a guy named Stephen Holder, who's an African-American writer. Dakich doesn't like me because I look different than him, and everybody jumped on him. He said, shut up. Dakich has had more spats with Greg Doyle, Bob Kravitz, and white writers than you. It is a common ploy because most times people feel that you should treat them differently because of the color of their skin. I call it equal but special. He's called black, white, right? He's called everybody that. And honest to God, you want equal, you got equal, but you don't like equal, do you? Nah, that lady didn't like equal, not even a little bit. She wanted equal but special. Don't say the same things to us that you say to white people. We're equal but special. That's all that is. I mean, look at Donald Trump's comments on Rosie O'Donnell and others. I mean, please. He speaks his mind, and this is what I wish more of the country would do. I wish more of the country wouldn't get so damn offended because, wow, he said this to a black person, but it's the same thing he says to a white person. Judge people by the content of their character, not the color of their skin. You know who's holding that back? Not Donald Trump, that black reporter that asked him that silly question. No, it's true. I get people won't get this. I understand people won't understand this, but that's the way I live my life. And then I get shocked when people go, well, you said that to a woman. I'm a little, what? Stop. This is going to get sexy. This is going to get interesting. This is going to get fascinating. Mel Tucker. Remember Mel Tucker? Mel Tucker couldn't keep it in his pants. He found him a biggin who came to speak to his team, and then he and the biggin started stooping. The biggin got mad. She exposed Tucker for stooping what I guess is considered an employee. Tucker got fired. Former Michigan State football coach Mel Tucker. He's suing Michigan State over his firing, not happy. The mad Tucker, he wants his case. The federal lawsuit filed Wednesday in Michigan accuses school officials of undertaking an improper sham investigation of allegations that the mad Tucker sexually harassed, exploited rape survivor and activist Brenda Tracy. The suit, which seeks unspecified damages, alleges that Michigan State officials violated his rights to due process and equal protection, as well as his employee agreement with the school. The complaint also contends that interim president Teresa Woodruff and athletic director Alan Haller made false and defamatory public remarks against the Tugger, furthering destroying the plaintiff's reputation, his professional standing, and his livelihood. Look, I'm going to tell you something. I like it. I do. If Mel Tucker feels this way, if the Mad Tugger is mad enough to file a lawsuit, it's a 75-page lawsuit, so it's a whopper. Good for him. Now, I have a little bit of a personal connection to this. My sister, who is a longtime prosecutor, actually has worked on the case. Her friend, who she works for, is kind of the attorney that figured this whole thing out. All right. Well, guess what? This is deep. I wish my sister could come on here. I asked her, can you come on here? She goes, oh, hell no. What's wrong with you? She smiled in my face and laughed at me. And I'm not mad at her for doing it. She probably should have. But anyway, Mel Tucker filed a law. It seems simple to me. It really does. Here's the contract. Here's what was said. Here's how I was fired. Does it match the contract? See, that's the world that I live in. It's a nice world, people. It's a simple world. I understand all of the complexities. This guy's mad, that guy's mad, everybody's mad. I get it. I do. I promise. But it seems pretty cut and dried to me. It seems pretty like, hey, what'd you do? This. Did it violate that? But then lawyers get involved. And what is this? Doesn't it really mean this? It means that, which violated that. I don't know. But I'm fascinated. And you know the great Mel Tucker and Diane Dakich and Don't At Me will be followed and closely intertwined because I love this stuff. I do. I love it. Look, here's the deal. When it comes to coaches, particularly high school coaches, but now, you know what? College coaches have always been in this boat too. It's always about two things, sex or money. Guy gets fired unexpectedly, sex or money. Well, now I guess it's because he yelled at somebody. He violated Title IX by yelling at somebody. Yeah, okay. I guess that's a third thing. Being too mean. My daughter used to call it a meaner. You're being meaner. Like, don't be a meaner. Be nice. Coddle children because 18 to 23-year-olds need coddle. That's one side. The other side is Big Mel and Big Brenda. They were slapping bellies, baby. Now, here's the deal. I said this before, and I'll say this again. Take out the marriage. Take out that part of it, okay? Just take that part out of it. Everybody knows if you're married, you got kids, you're a football coach of a major school, or you're anybody, you shouldn't be screwing around, okay? We know that. But I'm telling you, man, does it surprise me even a little bit that the coach, and here comes a woman speaking to the team, they get talking, they get chatting, they get, ooh, baby, ah, hi, honey. Next thing you know, bellies are flat. It doesn't surprise me even a little. And it is so stupid, so ridiculous, I can't even begin to tell you. But it goes to this. Men are pigs. My wife's father very clearly told her, men are pigs. How are you going to deal with it? Now, my wife will tell you men are simple. I agree with both. Men are pigs and men are simple. That's simple. Men are pigs and men are simple. Period. Easy. UConn's Paige Bueckers is signing an NIL deal with the new women's basketball league, Unrivaled. Makes her the first NCAA athlete to receive ownership equity in a league. Bueckers is expected to play in Unrivaled and the WNBA once her college career is finished. Is the WNBA in trouble? No. Nah, this is just, somebody at Unrivaled has a lot of money and somebody's giving her a lot of money. And, I got to tell you, I don't care. Seriously, I just don't care. Like, I want to care, but I care because Caitlin Clark is interesting. Paige Bueckers might as well be any other woman. Not interested. I'm not interested. Caitlin Clark, speaking of Caitlin Clark, revealed that she plans on playing plenty of golf during the Olympics. I'm going to try and play more golf over the break. I haven't been out there yet this year. I got new clubs. I need to break them in. See how they swing. There you go. Break them in. I tell you what, we'll play at Old Oakland. I'll give you an offer to play at Old Oakland. You're going to have to pay for your own cart because I'm not, No, you don't. No, nobody pays when they play with me over at my place, and that's unfortunate for me. In fact, my high school baseball coach, winningest coach in the history of the state of Indiana, he's only a few years older than me, bowed out today. He's supposed to drive down from Maryville and play. He bowed out because it's supposed to rain. Look, I'm playing today. If you're listening to this, Caitlin, you are more than willing. 3:30, we need a fourth. Love to have you. Don't bring your boyfriend. Don't bring an entourage. We don't do entourages. We get on the course, we play, maybe a vodka at the turn, and then we play the back nine. If you want to walk, it's cart path only. Love to have you. Love to have you.